of milliseconds is the delay.
Just made a minor modification to these.
Excuse me, these other grounds.
Okay, now how do you get this to compile? Where is
So I
it?
think we need to actually give it something on this pin. I'm not sure. So I'm not familiar with servos as much.
I was supposed to be paying attention, but I didn't see what he did to make it compile,
I think
right?
this is interpretive mode, so you just run the program. Compiling not necessary.
Take the argument, type it right into pin 9 here. With that.
Well, the servos are funny because they actually have like there's like a
Well, how did you run the
actual
previous program?
ground, a
Oh, I
power,
didn't.
and
He
then
just,
there's like
you know, and then
pulse.
we weren't listening,
Basically,
so.
it just says how many steps to move. Excuse me. I think you have to use that other pin.
Now, how do you run the code?
Oh, how do you run the code? Go ahead and click the little arrow button. That will upload it to
The one
the
that says
board.
upload? Okay, so upload is the word, key word. Okay,
2
so
seconds and 1 second. 2 seconds.
Okay.
Is it blinking faster?
It's going slower, but you know that's fine. Same idea. Basically, just
okay, so we
change
could check to see if we're doing better by going for faster.
How about you make it on and off at the same
Alright,
time?
was this just on and off?
Sorry, with the same delay.
Oh, okay.
Not literally.
For just
Don't exist in a quantum state.
He's just up in the
It would have
library.
made it 3.3 or 5 volts at one time.
Right. That's why I'm like,
I really don't know.
I
honestly.
saw that and I'm
I've
like, I know what that's
never
for.
used
Gotta have one.
Oh wow! It says in the example.
Alright, thank you.
You keep making it stay on
Thank
longer.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's doing it. It was like on 6 seconds and off 6 seconds. So it's really obvious it's not the same program, right?
Yeah.
All right. So challenge number the first.
Right.
Complete. So another thing we could do is add a switch to this so that we can turn on the LED or off based on the state of the switch.
So, a little background question, I guess. How does this software know to put it onto this USB to that device? Is that
Because this shows up as an actual USB device in your computer.
okay? So it's doing it some kind of name. It knows it as Arduino.
It treats it as a COM port or something like that. And basically, this is a USB to serial converter in there.
Okay.
So it looks like a serial port to the computer, and the computer just sends data to the board, and the board's like, oh, this is my data, and then
Oh, okay. Okay, so you got next step was something about
Yeah, so if you wanna, these switches are pretty simple. They're just, you know, they have three poles there, or 2 positions basically, on or this can be on or off. It's not like a momentary thing where you just push it and it's on or off. So what we can do is we can take,
Well, that sort of work.
you know, 2 of these pins. We'll say this is on.
Yeah, but it's
We're gonna use the breadboard. Did you get the breadboard spiel I did earlier?
no.
Okay. So the breadboard
Right
is just
now,
sort of a
we're supposed to be
simple
doing
platform
this.
for quickly developing electronic circuits.
And even that's supposed to only go 180, 180, 180.
The basic concept is that these 2 halves of the board between this valley here are separated completely. There's absolutely no connection between them. Each row is connected electrically, so that if you were to do, you know, let's see what I'm doing here. Something like this be complete nonsense because that's a short circuit. It's just not going to do anything. But if you go down to a different row, that is okay. And what happens is you can actually take this line and bring it over here, you know, by plugging in, for example, like that. These ones on the side, you probably won't deal with these much, but they're called a power bus, basically. So there's a negative and a positive. These entire their columns are connected electrically, but not to each other. You know, so these two columns are not connected. But basically, that allows you to bring in power from various parts on the board. You know, you can plug in your negative over here and your positive over here, but still have it available way on the side of the board.
Yeah. I wish I'd thought of it sooner.
Does that
but
explain
now
it?
Yep.
Okay.
know what the tagline for my next year's party is going to be.
Alrighty, so let's do this. We're going to put in a switch, and we're going to make it turn that. It's going to be really silly because we're using software to switch a light on and off, but we're not going to think about that.
Party was quite measuring tape.
I don't think so. You might want to check the room over there.
I just asked. I thought I'd come in here and ask.
Oh, sorry.
Alright, my quest continues.
Yes. Alright. So let's go ahead and hook one of these. You're going to want to pick a port, one of the pins,
Yeah,
on the
but
digital
not on
pins
the same
and
side.
choose that as the output, or sorry, the input pin for the switch, and then we're going to connect another side to ground because we need some reference point for the switch to be either high or low.
Okay, so we have the data ports along here. You have this
Any of
one.
these would work, except
Any
for
of those.
13. Don't use 13.
13's already in use, so we'll just arbitrarily choose this one that says 8, right? We put that into 8. Now, okay, so that's accomplished that. Now we bring this over here and we say we want to connect this up to the on-off switch, right?
Yeah, pick one of the poles. So you can either, usually you could, like the side ones are sort of like the data or the actual voltage side, and then the middle one's like the ground. So you have any of these 3 columns you can use. Go ahead and put it in one of them.
Okay, so any one of these then. So put this one right next to it.
The idea is it's supposed to be pulsing one way to go way.
And then you
one
want
way
this
to
guy
the
to go
other.
to ground because you need some reference point for it to actually.
Okay, so this is what we saw ground, right?
You know, let's
Hackers
do
are
this.
180 one way stop.
You want to put it somewhere further away.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this. All right, there we go.
Hello.
How you doing? Welcome.
Okay, so for ground, I'm going to put it into the blue side here, and just any of these rows that are
No.
not.
Well, these are indeed for ground, but they're not ground. The ground is on the board over here.
Oh,
You'll see
okay.
there's a GND.
Thinking that it's the wiring somewhere. I'm just gonna figure out.
That it's not being proper feedback, so it doesn't know where to stop.
Okay, so now
I think the middle.
Exactly.
Well, you got it spinning.
the middle. Okay, so I have the choice of 3. You're saying the middle one, right?
Middle one?
So is it any one of these middle ones, right?
Yes, that whole row is connected, so you can put it anywhere.
Okay.
Now, is
All
there
right.
supposed to be
So now we have
output
a switch that, when you switch this way,
Already got that
it will
first
make a
side.
connection between ground and this pin.
Okay, so that's on and that's off.
That's off.
All the way
Okay.
up.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to modify the
It's
code.
getting the information to read the switch state. Which
So we have
Because I'm just looking at the.
This concept of a,
Don't provide information
variable.
back in degrees.
You'll see this int button
But I'm
state
also working with
equals
certain
0.
numbers that are
So we're going to take this. All that is just
But I
it's
was-
just sort of like
feedback's not too different.
yeah.
it's sort of an alias for a value, I mean, just like math, really. So currently we have it set to 0. Let me take this and bring it right
The
over.
group that is running, the hackers group that is running this.
Oh, there's.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
there's-
They're in Ann Arbor.
Sensitive
well, there's
touchpad.
There's space in Ann Arbor, there's one in, I think, Dearborn. There's many places around the country. There's like 2 or 3 of them in the metro area.
Yeah, I've been there for
All right.
and there are 5.
So we have button state.
I visited one.
Next thing we're going to do is we're going to set it up to actually read that
And then
pin.
actually in Ann Arbor, there's
The pin 8, was it?
similar, and I'm not sure how much competition there is between.
So,
the
imagine that, it's
setup
pin
on
mode.
All hands on crew.
Yeah.
So that's,
And then
similar
the
things.
pin number.
I think they're tied into
And then- Do
Well,
inputs.
not when I was there the one time for the presentation.
Right.
'Cause I went
So
there
now
for
the
some
number 8 is set to be an input pin, which means it looks for some voltage change. And when it detects a certain level of change, it's like, oh, okay, I've been switched on or off.
around the corner from where I work.
The next one is to
Space I visited in Philadelphia has produced one design. that's
go
not
here.
this-
We're going to actually add this thing called an if statement. And you'll see if you look
There
over
was a guy
here.
there who built a kit that would let you
Oh, wait, first we got to actually read the
retrofit a
state.
mechanical typewriter.
So what we have here is we have this digital read is being called, which then just samples that pin, it takes a look and sees if it's high or low, and then it stores the resulting inspected value
No,
in
that's it.
this
That's the
variable
point.
that we
It's an
defined
old
up here.
Mechanical typewriter that the kit turns into a
So we're going to
USB
need to do
input
that every time we go around because we need to check to see if the pin is high or low. Right?
Yes, the project slogan is "New Frontiers in Obsolescence."
I like it.
Recycling.
And actually we're going to have to change this
Well,
button
actually-
pin.
Well,
Trying to find
the
those little
thing is-
mechanical
The
typewriters.
thing is, there actually is a strange smidgen of a point in
Eight.
there, which
Right.
is that for some people, mechanical typewriters are actually more comfortable on their fingers.
No.
The next point here is
Now,
we're going to
that's
do this thing
not
called an
me,
if
but I sort
statement.
of understand
All if
it
does
because
is
I prefer the old
says
style model
if
with
it's this
button
value,
style
do this, else
And
do
there were
something
soft
else.
keyboards.
So
Yeah, I can
what we're
understand
doing
that.
is we're checking to see if button
Yeah,
state
yeah.
is high.
When I was having to work with television.
If it is, we're going to do something.
I could touch
And if
type
it's
on a
not, then we're going to
keyboard,
do something
no
else.
problem.
The nothing else, or
On
the something else in this case is
teletypes
going to be nothing
screw
at all
me up
because we don't
because
really
you have to shift
have
between the
another
letters and
situation we
fingers
want to handle. So
I could do okay with the
do
numbers,
if
but everything else was in different places.
button
so it's just, but I could still type most with 2 fingers, and a lot of those people, and a lot of people went to school on that could with both hands.
And this is very basic programming stuff that you'll see time and time again if you ever get into programming.
And then
If statements, basically just decision loops. Hello. All right.
Arduino panel?
It
The
is,
next thing I'll look at,
yes.
so I'm actually on time for that one, like this one.
Feel free to look over my shoulder or, grab a kid if you want to work on something real quick because we're almost out of time. But,
Yeah, I'm actually
we're not
next one.
3 minutes. All right. We might have to wrap this up, so hopefully I get this working. So we're going to check to see if this is high, and if it is, it's going to run this. We're going to make this shorter. Let's put 500.
Less than 600.
My last duty station in the Navy was Willow Grove.
It's not what I want. All right.
Yes.
500. 500. All right. Okay, so we're going to send this over.
So I lived there for about 2.5 years.
Compiled, all right? Good. All right. So, it does nothing at all, right? No? Yes?
Spent a lot of time in Allentown.
There we go. So now it's off. It's not doing anything. But if you go ahead and switch it on, then it blinks. All right.
Right.
Okay, I guess I should get down to the others.
That's all the time we have for
Okay,
today,
great.
folks. So I got to clean up.
Thank you.
Yes. Yep.